What is up, gang? Thank you so much for checking out Sledgehammer TV. Once again today, it is still Sunday, January the 21st, 2018, and we have a very special episode as tomorrow night is the 25th anniversary of Raw, and we are going to show you my top 5 favorite moments in the history of the Monday Night Raw show right here and right now on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, baby. We are talking about the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, so let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Alright, wrestling fans, thank you so much once again for joining me. My name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me, as always, let me fix him and be straight right here, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Blue the Snowball, and we are going to give you guys my top 5 favorite moments in the entire history of Monday Night Raw as we prepare for tomorrow night's historic 25th anniversary show of Monday Night Raw. And to be fair, I've been honest with you guys all weekend. You guys know, if you've watched anything on this channel, that I am a recovering person right now from a terrible cold, as you could still hear in my voice. And if it bothers you, I apologize. Hopefully we will be back in tip-top condition by tomorrow night's Monday Night Raw show. Doing these shows that I've done today is probably not helping, as I probably shouldn't be using my voice this much. But in any case, we're not here to talk about me. We are here to talk about Monday Night Raw. And before we do that, I want to invite each and every one of you new viewers to subscribe to Sledgehammer TV today. We have had an influx of subscribers all weekend long. The family is growing exponentially at a rate that I have never seen before. And we are so close to our 500 subscriber goal, and we are going to march even faster to that 1,000 subscriber mark so that we can stay an official YouTube channel and be one of the best as we try to be on all of YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe, become part of the movement, slam it, slam that thumbs up. I was going to say something really bad right there, but I'm glad I stopped myself. Just smash that thumbs up for me. Make sure you let me know you like what we're doing here at the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show so that I can continue to bring you the quality content that you can then go on and share with all of your wrestling buddies all over the world and keep them coming back for more right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. So now that all that's out of the way, let's talk a little bit about this show, right? I told you guys, top 5 moments. So as I was preparing to do this, and you start looking for pictures and stuff to make the show more interesting, I don't want you to always just have to see this. I want to make the show more like a television show, so I want to be able to cut to other scenes and do other things, and I start looking through some of these pictures online, and I immediately kind of get angry with myself at my own top 5 list. But I didn't really go at it as a top 5. I'm not ranking anything. There's just been way too many moments. How could you put anything pretty much above anything Stone Cold Steve Austin has done? Right? Like, he is the driving force of Monday Night Raw through its biggest and most prosperous era. So, of course, Austin stunning McMahon on Monday Night Raw is one of the biggest moments in history, but it didn't make my list. Do you know why? Because what I did was, I took the first 5 things that I thought of. Because essentially, if somebody asks you, what's your top 5 moments of Raw? The first 5 moments that come to your mind should essentially be your answer. Because those are the first 5 things you remember. They made some sort of an impact on your life, that they are the first things that come to mind. Maybe in my wrestling mind, I've seen Austin and McMahon in so many different ways that they all kind of blend together into one gigantic, beautiful story. And one or another significant moment here or there, whether it be at WrestleMania or at Raw, does not really stand out, as it's the entirety of their story that tells their tale. You know what I mean? It's not just this one moment that made a big thing out of Austin McMahon. The first time he stunned him, we barely even knew that Vince McMahon was about to turn into the Stone Cold his villain, so that Stone Cold could be the anti-hero. Act like a bad guy, but be a good guy. So literally everything he's done could be at anybody's top 5. You want to talk about the beer truck? That was WWE's #1 moment in the history of Raw on their official list. That didn't even make my list. Do you know why that didn't make my list? Because I remember angles being more for me. I was much more entertained at Kurt Angle coming out in that rinky-dink little milk truck and spraying everybody with milk than Austin coming out almost tearing the Titantron down and spraying everybody with beer. Sure, Vince, swimming in the ring, selling it. It was fantastic. It was great. It just was not one of the first moments that came to mind. So let's cut to my screen. And listen, I know you guys are probably going to give me some shit on this. Like I said, this is not really a top 5. It's just the... Actually, no, I guess it is. It's a top 5. It's the first 5 moments I remember. So those are the top 5 moments of my life in Raw. So let's get to them. And don't be too mean. Because, it's my opinion. And I'm entitled to mine, just like you guys are entitled to to yours. So let's get to these moments on Monday Night Raw. Here you go. It's obvious. I don't have to start talking about it. You could see the pictures here. Now, initially I had a whole big thing going on. We were going to do the graphics and have a bunch of pictures and the slideshow and the whole 9 yards. But being in the condition I've been in all weekend, I have not been able to do that. So we're going to take the easy way out. We're going to have these pictures right here to serve as visual aids. And we're going to run through this really, really quickly. Right beneath me is probably my #1, if I'm being honest. I'm a CM Punk guy. I've always been a CM Punk guy. And this moment, I think, has transcended wrestling in a way. The fact that the WWE had it as #2 on their official list, and kudos to them for acknowledging the fact that this is one of the biggest things that ever happened on TV. Sure, it was part of the storyline, but they gave him a live mic. They didn't really know what he was going to say. It wasn't scripted, but it was magical. It was a moment that rose the hair on the back of my neck. It gave me goosebumps on my goosebumps. It was just something that we had never seen before, and delivered with such perfection. Everything that followed after that doesn't even matter. This is one of the best things they ever allowed to happen, and it made CM Punk a superstar, an absolute superstar. He was already main event level, but this particular moment is where CM Punk pretty much put himself in the upper echelon of WWE's talent, even though they refused to acknowledge it. Excuse me. Let's move along. This way. I'm saving the best for last because I know a lot of you are probably steaming at me for one of these pictures. But right here, August 9th, 1999, Chris Jericho's debut is another one of those moments that you will just never ever forget. I was sitting on my couch and The Rock was cutting a promo. Never really was a big Rock guy in the 90s. I was a Triple H, Austin, Undertaker guy. But The Rock was entertaining, and I had to deal with him, much like we have to deal with most people we don't like in the WWE. You may agree with me on that, you may not. And then the countdown clock appeared. This countdown clock that had been haunting us for weeks. Many of us had no idea what was to come. The Millennium was coming. That's all we knew. Who was this Millennium Man? Y2J Chris Jericho. One of those moments that just absolutely almost shut you down. Like you can't even move. You're just glued. Glued to the couch. Glued to your TV. Not believing what you're seeing. Inside, there's just a joy and a happiness that you feel on so many levels. You felt happy for Chris Jericho that he got out of WCW and has come to the WWE. And not only has he come to the WWE, but he's out here interrupting The Rock So he's obviously not here to play. He's here and put right into the big picture. You don't see that every day, especially back then. I mean, look at how everybody else that followed him came in. Nobody had that big of an impact as Chris Jericho did. The way the clock ticked down and then how the music kicked off and his name hit the Titantron and he was standing there just like this. Something that is very, very hard to top. Probably the best debut ever in WWE history. So it has to be on the top 5 of anybody's list in Monday Night Raw. Over here, you guys might be getting mad about this, but you need to understand I'm an old man. I'm 40 years old. And when this moment happened, I know now in retrospect that it was supposed to be Austin. But honestly, I don't think it would have been as good. I don't think it would have been as big. What, other than their drawing ability, can you compare Austin and Hogan? The comparisons between The Rock and Hogan went far, far beyond the Hollywood link. You know, like it just was another moment that it went beyond wrestling. And it was my childhood clashing with my present day. Not that The Rock was my present favorite. I'm just saying, like, what's going on right now is taking on everything that I loved back then. Who has now transformed into this black and white thing and has now come home. And everybody was already feeling like they wanted to see him in the red and yellow. And I'm glad he didn't do that until after this match. Because The Rock versus Hollywood Hogan and how that whole encounter happened on Raw. If you were watching it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You were sitting on your couch and you couldn't even breathe. You were sitting there waiting for every single word. And it was a moment that will live forever. And it led to one of the best moments in WrestleMania history. Rock Hogan and that crowd in Toronto. You go back and watch that, you can't help but get invested. No matter how you feel about either one of these talents, you can't help but feel that crowd. Even all these years later, sitting alone or sitting with your friends, wherever you're at, you will feel that match. It is epic. And it all started with this moment on Monday Night Raw. Now, don't kill me, you guys, but this picture here is one of the best moments in Raw history. Not because of the fact that Triple H got one up on Stephanie. Not because of the fact that, Linda McMahon was turning on her own daughter and making sure Triple H knew that she wasn't actually pregnant as she was trying to trick him into renewing his vows. Not vowels, vows. This face and the scream that accompanied it has given me hours of laughter and hours of enjoyment that I can't even tell you. To this day, when they play this clip on Monday Night Raw, when they go back, as I'm sure we will see it tomorrow night, I rewind it over and over and over. Probably her best moment ever in wrestling, because now she's just a drag. Nobody wants to see Stephanie. But in this time, even though we didn't really want to see her here either, this was fantastic. This was absolutely fantastic. That roar that she let out, this face right here. One of the first things I remembered. One of the very first things I remembered when I started to try to compile this list. I have it right here. And it went this way. The first thing I thought of right off the bat, Jericho's debut. Second, CM Punk. Third, the Triple H and Stephanie thing. Fourth was Rock Hogan. And then, of course, the Yes Movement. Now, I was watching off the script the other day, and JD made a very good point, and he brought up the fact that there are many other moments that happened on Raw, especially pertaining to Daniel Bryan, that were kind of bigger than the Yes movement. And he is correct, but they were not as memorable, or else we would have remembered them without having to go back and watch the year over a second time. You remember the Yes occupation of Raw, you remember it because the fans piled into the ring. Not really done before on WWE TV. It's something that used to happen back in the day once in a while. ECW fans used to crowd the ring at the end of the show. It's happened in the AWA, the NWA, and so forth. But it's not something we really see nowadays, especially with security and everything that we have to deal with in this present day. But that was a special moment. And it was made even the more special by the involvement of the fans. And how angry Stephanie was. And how angry Triple H was. And how this moment led to the entire changing of the main event of WrestleMania 30. Which led to him finally being crowned the champion of this company despite all the odds placed in front of him due to the authority. Sure, that match with Bray Wyatt in the cage where he was supposedly a member of the Wyatt family and the crowd was in the palm of his hands, an absolutely epic moment. And sure, I remember it when I jog my memory a little bit. Definitely not one of the first moments that I remember. I actually don't even remember exactly when it happened. You know, there's just so much that happens that it almost kind of blends all together into one big memory, and you'd have to go back and look. And just like I was telling you with these pictures, when I go back and look at some of Raw's top moments, just searching for these 5 pictures, as I already had my list picked out, I was like, wow, I forgot about that. Or, geez, maybe I should talk about that. And I decided not to. I decided to stick with my instincts. These were my top 5 moments on Monday Night Raw ever. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. What do you think I left out? Obviously, there's a million things you guys are going to tell me that is better than anything that involves Stephanie McMahon. But I made my case for this, and I defy you to go back and watch this whole entire thing and not crack up laughing by the end. Especially the way Triple H lets her go through the whole thing. They pull off the whole ceremony for him to just tell her that I can finally see you for the conniving bitch you are and that it's over. I would definitely love to do my impression and try to scream it out in my Triple H voice, but my vocal cords will not allow for that. So we can't do that on this show. Maybe in another show to come I can pull out my little Triple H impression. But right now that's not important. What's important is tomorrow night is the 25th anniversary of Monday Night Raw. And the list of legends that are coming out for this thing is unbelievable. They just added some people that I never would have expected, like MVP, who I just met a few months ago back at a House of Glory show. Great dude. We had a nice little couple of minutes to chat. He was very open with what he had to say to me. And I'm glad to see him back. I really, really was a big fan of MVP. Especially all the stuff he did with Matt Hardy on SmackDown. I thought it was great. And I'd love to see this maybe lead into something more with him on the WWE roster. But he's been pretty injury prone. Every time he kind of got something started on the indies, or when he made his debut in Impact and started up his little faction that he had there, he kept getting hurt. I mean, he's a little older. You know, maybe he has a lot to offer the company in another capacity. Maybe a managerial role, maybe just a part-time schedule once in a while. Part-time thing seems to be what people are doing nowadays. And with the way these guys have been getting injured, as almost half the Raw roster is dealing with a nagging injury of some sort, or is out with injury altogether, why not reduce the schedule? Why do we have to see everybody wrestle every week? We're not going to go off on a rant about that. But my whole point in bringing it up is I still do not understand how they are going to get all this talent on a 3-hour show. Apparently there's going to be a pre-show for the first time ever for Raw. I don't know if it's going to be exclusively on YouTube, if it's going to be on the USA Network. I have not looked into those things. I wish I did so I could relay those facts to you, but I was not thinking about that until this moment. I actually forgot there will be, I believe, a 1-hour pre-show to Monday Night Raw, and I just don't understand how they're going to cram all this into one show. It's nearly a logical impossibility for this show to not end up being good, with the amount of names and the amount of faces and the amount of things that they can do. It all depends on how they do it. We'll have to tune in tomorrow night, and you can count on me to be here, still sick or not, to bring you the review of everything that goes down as we celebrate 25 years of Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this little special tidbit of an episode. Let me know once again what you thought of my top 5 moments. What are your top 5? Give me your 5 moments down in the comments below. You could follow me on Twitter. You could let me know about them over there. You could let me know about them on the Facebook page over at the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show Facebook fan page. Become a fan over there. Thank you so much for checking us out once again today. Sorry for all the late uploads and for my crappy voice and my palish looking skin, and hopefully it didn't bother you that much and you still feel the need to join us and subscribe today. Do not forget, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, so every time an episode drops, just like this one, you will never miss it. Then smash that like button once again and share this video with all your wrestling buddies. Thank you so much for watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show right here on Sledgehammer TV. That is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is Blue the Snowball Microphone, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, and this has been the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show right here on Sledgehammer TV, only on YouTube.com for now. Thank you so much, and we will see you tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw 25. Happy birthday.